Hello, sports fans. Welcome to Super Sports Central. Today, we have my Week 3 NFL predictions. So last week, I had a record of 10-6, which brings my overall record on the season to 19-13. So starting off this week on Thursday Night Football, we have the Steelers going to Cleveland to take on the Browns. The Browns blew a big lead against the Jets last week, and the Steelers had a bad offensive performance against the Patriots. I think this will be a low-scoring game. I'm going to go with the Browns because they're going to be able to get consistent pressure on Steelers quarterback Mitch Trubisky. Plus, the Browns also have an elite pass rusher in Myles Garrett. So, the Browns will win this one in a low-scoring affair, 20-13. Moving on to the Texans at the Bears. So, this is a tough game to pick as it's between two bad teams. The Bears were able to get the victory Week 1 over the 49ers in a monsoon. And the 49ers tied against the Colts Week 1. Both teams are coming in off losses last week. I'm going to go with the Bears as their defense isn't that bad, and they also have had some success running the ball this year. So I'm going to go with the Bears in a low-scoring game, 17-12. Next, we have the Raiders visiting the Titans. So both these teams are 0-2. The Titans are on a short week after getting destroyed by the Bills on Monday Night Football, and the Raiders blew a big lead against the Cardinals. The Titans need to be able to run the ball with Derrick Henry, who hasn't had over 100 rushing yards in a game yet this season, and he's barely over 100 rushing yards in total on the season. The Raiders have developed into a pass-first offense, and the Titans' pass defense has been decent, not great, not terrible. So I'm going to go with the Raiders here, getting the close win, 28-24. Next, we have the Colts hosting the Chiefs. The Colts have gotten off to a terrible start. They lost to the Jaguars 24-0, plus they tied against the Texans in Week 1. Matt Ryan has not looked very good as a Colt so far, and the Chiefs have been really good starting off the season. And I have the Chiefs winning this one, winning by a score of 34-16. Next, we have the Bills going to Miami to take on the Dolphins. So, this is a battle between two undefeated AFC East rivals. If the Dolphins beat the Bills this year, it's going to be this game because they're not going to go travel to Buffalo in December and beat the Bills in freezing cold weather and potentially snow. Something to watch in this game is the Dolphins wide receivers Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle against the Bills secondary, who are still without top corner Trey White. But I think the Bills are going to remain undefeated. It's going to be the closest game the Bills have played this season, but it's still going to be an 11-point victory for the Bills as they get the win here at 37-26. Next, we have the Lions at the Vikings. So, the Lions have gotten off to a pretty good start this season, and even though their comeback fell short against the Eagles, their offense still looked pretty good there, and they had a good game against the Commanders in the win last week. The Vikings are coming off a really bad loss to the Eagles on Monday Night Football. I think this should be an entertaining, high-scoring game, but I do have the Vikings sneaking out with the win at 34-30. Next, we have the Patriots hosting the Ravens. So both teams are 1-1 with their loss being to the Dolphins. The Ravens' defense was not good last week. They allowed a big comeback and allowed 42 points overall. But I don't think the Patriots' offense is that good. So the Ravens' defense should have no problem stopping the Patriots' offense, and the Ravens will come out on top with the win at 27-14. Next, we have the Bengals visiting the Jets. So the Bengals have gotten off to a very slow start this season as they're 0-2. The Bengals' offensive line looks once again terrible, even though they made several additions in free agency. But luckily for the Bengals, the Jets have had a lot of trouble getting to the quarterback this season. And I have the Bengals getting their first win of the season, winning this one 31-15. And if the Bengals do lose this game, it will be their second game in a row against the Jets, where the Bengals lost to the Jets' backup quarterback, as last year the Bengals lost to Mike White. Next, we have the Eagles visiting the Commanders. So the Eagles were dominant on Monday Night Football over the Vikings. They're coming in on a short week. So I could definitely see the Commanders with the upset, but I don't think that's going to happen, as the Eagles just look too good. Jalen Hurts looked really good in the win. The secondary was also really good. And I have the Eagles ending up with a close win, 27-23. Next, we have the Panthers hosting the Saints. So the Saints had a bad offensive showing last week against the Buccaneers, and the Panthers' offense has also been bad this season. The Saints have an elite defense, as their defense should be able to shut down the Panthers, and the Saints will escape with the win, 21-6. Moving on to the Jaguars at the Chargers. So Justin Herbert will play after having a rib injury he suffered last week against the Chiefs. The Jaguars destroyed the Colts last week, but the Chargers are a much more talented team than the Colts, and I have the Chargers getting the win over the Jaguars, winning 33-21. Moving on to the Rams at the Cardinals. So both teams got wins last week. The Cardinals got a huge comeback win over the over the Raiders, and the Rams almost blew a 28-3 lead. Sean McVay is 10-1 in his head coaching career against the Cardinals, and I have the Rams getting the win over the Cardinals 34-24. Next, we have the Falcons at the Seahawks. So this is another tough game. The Falcons are playing another road game on the West Coast, as last week was in LA, this week in Seattle. I don't think either team is that good. The Seahawks were decent week 1 against the Broncos, and I have the Seahawks getting the win by 1 point in a very close game, 24-23. Moving on, we have the Packers going to Tampa to take on the Buccaneers. Tom Brady against Aaron Rodgers for potentially the final time. This is a very tough game to predict, but really, who's either quarterback going to throw the ball to? The Buccaneers are without Mike Evans due to a suspension, and Chris Godwin and Julio Jones were both out last week, and neither practiced so far yet this week. So the rushing attack is going to be a big factor for both teams. So I trust the Packers' run game more and their offensive line more, but their run defense also allowed the Bears to run the ball against them. I could definitely see this game going either way. My gut says the Buccaneers, so I'm going to stick with the Bucs. I have them getting the win here, 27-24. Moving on to Sunday Night Football, we have the 49ers at the Broncos. So we will have a live watch party for this game starting at about 8:10 Eastern Time. The 49ers will have Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback after Trey Lance suffered a very unfortunate broken ankle and is now out for the season. But the 49ers luckily opted to keep Jimmy Garoppolo on a restructured deal. The Broncos have not been that great. They've had a lot of delay of game penalties, so the crowd actually started counting down the play clock so they wouldn't get another penalty. But I have the 49ers getting the win. I think it'll be lower scoring, not like super low scoring, but in the lower scoring range, as I have the 49ers getting the win on the road on Sunday Night Football, winning by a score of 23-20. And the last game, we have Monday Night Football. We have the Cowboys at the Giants. So this is the second game we will have a live watch party for, and it will start at approximately 8 o'clock Eastern Time. So the Giants are undefeated, playing the Cowboys, who got their first win last week with Cooper Rush at quarterback against the Bengals. Cooper Rush will be the quarterback again, as Dak Prescott will remain out. The Giants' offensive line has not been great, as Daniel Jones has been sacked 8 times, which is tied for third most in the NFL. And the Cowboys also have Micah Parsons, who's obviously an elite player, all-around player, not just pass rusher. He can do everything. So I could see this game going either way, but I'm going to go with the Giants to improve to 3-0, because they're going to find a way to do it. They found a way to do it against the Titans. They found a way to do it against the Panthers. And I have the Giants getting to 3-0, defeating the Cowboys on Monday Night Football, winning by a score of 23-21. But I could definitely see this game going either way. So those are my Week 3 NFL predictions. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment if you agree, disagree, and why. Make sure to check out the community tab of my channel, where you guys can vote on who you think will win some of this week's games. So that's all for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you in the next video.